I got too much shit going on today, Will. We're just jumping right into this. No prep, no, just shooting from our balls. Welcome to That's Good Broncos. Oh my God, they did it. They pulled the trigger, and it wasn't aimed at their own head. And the Broncos trade Bradley Chubb to the Miami Dolphins. They get a first-round pick for Chubb. They get running back Chase Edmonds for Chubb, and did they get a fourth rounder in there somewhere?
Yeah, so they gave the Dolphins a fifth rounder. They got a fourth rounder, but then they swapped the fourth and the fifth with the Jets for another edge rusher, Jacob Martin.
So they add a little depth behind Chubb. They get a first rounder like they wanted. And that's a pretty big move. Pretty big move. I think this ultimately will help the Broncos. We're going to get into that in a minute. Today's episode sponsored by DraftKings. Code DNVR. Fucking use it or lose it. Official words from DraftKings. And benchwarmerbrew.com, my coffee company. If you like coffee, I dare you to try it. Will, I just want your initial thoughts on the Bradley Chubb trade.
Yeah, I think
the
first thing I thought about, I'm going to be totally selfish, was that we don't have to broadcast the entire first round without a draft pick again.
Yes. Oh, my God. That's a huge win for us.
Yeah. So that's big. I like Bradley Chubb. He's never been my favorite player or anything, and that's not anything against him. It's just it's hard to, I don't know, sometimes it's hard to have a favorite player when your team's just not good ever.
Yeah.
So I think this was kind of a best case scenario because I'm not worried about the depth at edge. Obviously, the injury is notwithstanding at this point, but in the long term, I feel confident about Gregory's abilities. I feel confident about Browning's abilities, especially after last Sunday. I feel good about Benito's ability to step in there and provide some quickness off the edge that they desperately need.
Yeah, and I saw even Jacob Martin, the guy they're getting from the Jets. He's only played like 28% of the snaps there, but when he's on the field, he's been productive. So it's not like a guy you can go and just look at his stat line and feel like great about, but like that's a nice little move to probably help you get through Gregory and Browning getting healthy because we don't really know when they're going to come back.
And it's super low risk too.
Yeah. And the Dolphins' first rounder is coming by way of the 49ers. Yeah. So oddly, now we have to root for the Seahawks to beat the shit out of the 49ers in December. So we are Seahawks fans, and we need the 49ers to lose. And I was just getting ready to start pulling for the Niners. Like McCaffrey looks awesome as a 49er, as we thought he would with Kyle Shanahan. But if they can start losing a lot of games, and right now that's the 20th pick in the draft, which is amazing. Like the fact that the Broncos would be able to have a pick right there. I think it's going to end up being like 25 or 26-ish by the end of the season. But still, that's a spot where maybe you can grab offensive line help, which I think will be their biggest need going into the draft. So it's a move where if you're not going to pay Chubb or extend him, you get the deal done. And the Dolphins get some nice help on the edge there to pair with Jalen Phillips.
Yeah.
And, I think it's a win for Miami. They've had so much draft capital, and right now they're winning with Tua, so it's a good move from them. And then I was surprised we got Chase Edmonds thrown in there.
I thought that was a nice little move. I don't think he on his own, I don't think he would have cost very much, but I liked just kind of saying, hey, we don't have a very dynamic piece at running back right now. Let's take care of that while we're in the war room.
Yep. I mean, we've said it like the last 3 weeks on this podcast. The one thing really hurting the offense is their lack of big playability from the running back spot. Brought it up again in the recap of the trades. Still no rushes over 20 yards for the Broncos, and maybe Chase Edmonds can be that guy. The weird part is he wasn't working with the Dolphins. Now, their whole run game hasn't been great.
They haven't worked. The run game hasn't worked there, regardless of coach, for quite a few years now.
Yeah. But in terms of a guy who I think can, one, catch passes out of the backfield and turn those into big plays, which I think they were starting to do with Mike Boone a little bit. I think he just offers like a little bit more speed. And if we can just get a few more of those plays, it will help the struggling line. I think it'll help Russ Wilson a little bit. And we kind of just got to hold on for the rest of this season, see where we're at by the end of the year. But knowing we now have that first round pick is a huge get for the Broncos to hopefully by the end of the season say, oh yeah, Russell Wilson's playing pretty good football. We can add a key piece in the draft in the first round, and we can go from there.
Yeah, and I think to that point too, the addition of Edmonds and the addition of Jacob Martin kind of signaled that they're not throwing in the towel on the current season.
No,
because had that been the case, I think you would have seen one of either Judy or Hamler gone at this point.
Yeah,
and they didn't want to hamstring the side of the ball that needs the most help because they're 3-5, which is obviously not a good record through 8 games. But given the landscape of the AFC, you're definitely not out of it.
I think
you're in position still.
Yeah, they're in position. Like I think the Broncos got screwed by the Lions, honestly.
That makes sense.
Think the Minnesota Vikings may have been interested in Albert Okwuegbunam. This is just me projecting.
Okay.
We know Peyton has good relationship with the Vikings. And Irv Smith, high ankle sprain, so they need a tight end. Rarely do you see a team go within the division to get a guy as good as TJ Hawkinson in a trade.
Right. That was like bizarre.
Yeah, to me it feels like, hey, I bet the Broncos could have gotten something for Albert O, but then the Lions were like, no, fuck it, we'll trade you TJ Hawkinson. And the Vikings like, what? Seriously? Like, yeah, let's just bring those Packers down. Let's keep bringing them down a notch.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like if the Chargers had a big lead on the Chiefs right now, but we had to send them not even Albert Oaks. That's not a comparable player, but we send them Judy to say yeah, all right, finish off the Chiefs, do it.
Yeah, it'd be like
give it to the first rounder or something.
Like the Raiders sending the Chargers Darren Waller right now.
Yeah,
just to fuck over the Chiefs.
If you look at it that way, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But then again, if you look at if you're a GM, how much does it take in terms of extra compensation to deal a guy within the division? Because there's obviously a price tag for everyone. Yeah. If the Chargers are offering 2 firsts for Judy, at what point do you say okay, yeah, I'm going to do that?
I mean,
it's weird. It's uncomfortable.
When you think about it, worst case scenario, you're risking 2 losses every year. If you think the player's that good and it's really going to help that team beat you.
Yeah.
That's not how football games work, though. It's rarely, unless it's a quarterback, unless you're trading like Mahomes to the Broncos or some shit, a skill player or whatever, probably not going to be the sole reason you lose to that team. And my thought today was one of the best attributes I think a GM can have is understanding the value he can get for his players. And that sounds like a simple thing to understand, but if you look at the Cowboys and what they did with Amari Cooper, they clearly had no clue what his value was. Yeah, and
I think we saw that last night.
Yeah. And we saw it last night, and then Chase Claypool commanding a second rounder, just Jesus God, the Cowboys messed that up. So I think a GM, they've got to know their value, know when to capitalize on it. And I saw Schefter tweet out today, we saw the most trades ever. I think there were 10 before the deadline. I was preparing to, make a really low energy episode with one or two moves that I had to try to overhype, and then shit just started happening, and then Chubb goes in there.
Yeah,
it was kind of wild.
Well, I think there's a little bit of luck involved too, in the case that you get Chubb in a contract year where, okay, he's got an expiring deal. That makes sense to trade him. He's not hurt currently. That makes sense to trade him. He also wasn't hurt last year, but he wasn't producing. Remember, he's coming off of a 0 sack year.
Yeah.
So you don't get a first rounder for him last year. There's a little bit of luck involved, and then there's a little bit of just kind of having the balls to say, like, all right, I don't think it's, who knows? He could get injured later in the year. I hope he doesn't. He might not ever be this productive again in his career. This might be the peak of his powers. Let's get what we can for him now.
Yeah. And
without compromising the rest of the season, because I don't think that's what this does.
No, the Broncos defense finds ways to get pressure. Their secondary is really good. So I honestly think you could have a lot of different guys succeed in their scheme right now. So, it makes sense. And
yeah, that's a good point.
It's not, but like you said, it's nothing against Chubb. He was playing well. They're losing a key piece on defense right now.
Of course.
But based on where they were with the cap, nobody thought he was coming back long term. Like, that was not the word coming out of anybody connected to, the team and the organization.
It's like, so look at it this way. It's like, if we take the extension off the table, it's this in the middle of the season are 9 games worth of Chubb. Is that worth a first round pick versus a compensatory 3rd round pick? Maybe.
Yeah. They got getting a first is I can't reiterate how important that is right now.
It's like, it really does like offset I don't see it as a free first round pick, but like, I don't know. The way that Peyton has been able to draft and collect edge rushers has made it. It's like in the NBA, they talk about collecting assets. That's what Peyton does, I think, is he collects assets. And the hard part is making them liquid and being able to flip them for a first round pick, but it doesn't seem like he has any problem doing that.
No. He knows what he's
doing. And to Johnny's point, yeah, like I think they probably bought low on Chase Edmonds.
Yeah, they knew the Dolphins needed to get rid of him because immediately after that happened, the Dolphins acquired Jeff Wilson from the 49ers, a guy I think Mike McDaniel knows will fit the way he wants to run his offense. Plus, the Niners are going to get Elijah Mitchell back off IR so they can replace Jeff Wilson. So, yeah, I think, you got a lot of upside with Chase Edmonds. And if he doesn't work out, he literally cost you just whatever his salary is. Like,
yeah, and you're taking a little bit of a leap to say, okay, here's a guy, Chris Collinsworth. Now, here's a guy who 2019 averaged 5.1 yards per carry, 2020, 4.5 yards per carry, 2021, 5.1 yards a carry. This year, 2.9 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Is that him or is that the situation? We're betting on that being a product of the situation rather than the player.
Yeah, I think it could be a real spark from the deal. And if you want to put a real spark in your life, why don't you check out DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and the NBA. Basketball's back. You know that? Will's watching the Kings, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, brother. 2-4.
Ooh, better than I would have guessed. Right now, new customers can make any $5 NBA moneyline bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. And in addition to the usual bets, everyone can boost their winnings up to 100% with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Just go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and place a stepped-up same-game parlay today. And with giant payouts, bigger payouts than ever, DraftKings Sportsbook is where I go to bet on basketball. Jokic, if there's a triple-double line, take the over. He's going to get a quadruple triple. Quantecta, Secula, that dunk crossover.
Yep.
Fade away. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code DNVR and get $200 in free bets if your team wins on any $5 bet. Only DraftKings. Code DNVR.
How did it feel to see yourself dominating on the court?
Oh, in your video?
Yeah.
Will sucks. It was very flattering, first of all. There's just one episode up so far, right?
Yeah.
Make sure you check out Will's channel, Will Sucks at Games, where I am leading the Sacramento Kings out of obscurity and I'm assuming to an NBA title at some point.
Yeah, hopefully.
But when I went in and started playing and was just nailing shots, didn't I posterize somebody?
You did, yeah, on a breakaway.
Again, my favorite part's when I told the guy to suck my dick after the game.
Mm-hmm. So. I felt like you, so.
I actually laughed out loud in bed when I was watching that part.
I'm glad.
Like, Will knows exactly what I would want to say in that situation.
If the game wouldn't say it, I would have to say it for you.
Dang right. I was relieved, though, after the Chubb trade happened, that the Judy trade did not.
Yeah, same.
And I'm pulling back my rant. I wanted to trade Judy. Okay,
reel it in.
I did, but since I went all in on not liking Jerry Jeudy anymore as a player,
pretty good.
He's been pretty all right. So let's see what happens. Thomas, good deal. Puts a lot of pressure on Browning, though. That's the only thing that is risky. Twitter people also will say Browning's success is because of Chubb taking a lot of attention. No, I think that no. The Twitter people are wrong because Browning was getting off the edge faster than anybody in the NFL.
Yeah, Chubb had nothing to do with that.
No.
If he can cut down on the offsides like a little bit, yeah. It'd be crazy.
Next beer on me, guys. Also, why do you use the same DNVR code as DNVR Bar? Y'all giving them our money. Well, podcast partnered with DNVR, so that's why we're giving them our money.
And in exchange, they don't invite us to London.
Yeah. Suck it, guys, for not inviting us.
You wankers.
Cheerio. Top of the trade to ya.
Suck our knobs. Is that what they say? I don't
know. We do have a bye week.
That's true.
So that'll be nice. We can just watch other football this weekend. But so I do think the Broncos ultimately win this trade. Any other things from all of this that are on your mind, Will?
I just want to ask you, like, what I know that offensive line seems like it's the target right now, but can you give me like two other positions you'd be comfortable taking in the first?
Yeah. Yes. How do you feel the fans, ownership, GM are punting away this? They're not punting it away. They're not punting away. So.
Just a good opportunity.
Oh man. I think wide receiver at this point is a need.
Yeah.
So that is a position I would love if they took in the 20s. I mean, that's where you find guys like Justin Jefferson. So
can I give you a couple names at wide receiver?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna give you one right now, and then see if my.
Ooh, that's nice. Calvin Ridley. We should have went after Ridley.
That would have been interesting. Jordan Addison from USC. I like him.
Okay.
He's formerly at Pitt. He was Kenny Pickett's top receiver, and now he's playing with Caleb Williams. But that's someone, in my opinion, to look at.
He might be in that range.
Yeah, he's being mocked around 20.
Okay.
And then there's some value guys later in the draft, obviously.
Yeah, it's like first round receiver, I'd feel great about. I think later in the draft, running back, I think they have to do. And now, oh man.
Kind of have to.
What's that?
You kind of have to. You're right.
Yeah, because you're going to get Javonte Williams back at some point, but you need a playmaker there. And then I'm probably like, if there's a corner they're very high on, I'll always take a corner. But also, it might be time for them to invest in their linebacker in the draft as well. If we're not talking O-line, like if there's a really dynamic corner or linebacker in the 20s somewhere, the Broncos can grab. I think those are two spots you might pull the trigger for.
Have you seen the running back from Texas?
Oh, what's his name? Bijan
Robinson.
Bijan. Yes,
I might be screwing up the pronunciation.
I'll take him in the first. He's the guy who breaks all the tackles, right?
Like, yeah, he's being mocked at like 10.
Yeah,
from what I'm seeing, but that seems unlikely. I don't think it's going to happen. And then you got some corners I'd like to name. You probably sound familiar. Joey Porter Jr. out of Penn State.
Is that Jerry Porter's son?
No, that's Joey Porter's son.
Oh, Joey.
The linebacker.
Jerry Porter. Okay. I'll take him. Give me more sons of NFL players at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's working out. Seems to be working out at this point.
I just want speed, I think.
There's another Walter Football has corner Brian Branch from Alabama going at 20.
Hell yeah, Steve.
Just two Alabama corners.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Steve.
Two Bama corners, I'll take it. Like the corners have been playing well, and K'Wan Williams has been great. Darby was very good before he got hurt, but if you can get another young corner there, I like it. Like I agree. Now, I was looking at the Seahawks. Kenneth Walker, Rashad Penny, and who's their corner?
Tariq Woolen. Yeah.
Because I was trying to find out how fast Chase Edmonds is, and 3 of like the top 10 fastest clock times for ball carriers was Walker, Penny, and Woolen this year. I'm like, I think there might be a little something to having some speed.
Yeah. It seems like a deliberate strategy on their part.
Maybe a little bit, especially at that running back position that's helping them win. And I think Russ needs it. But
I will give, as upset, as dead to us as they are, Ryan Koenigsberg from DNVR. He like everybody, they all like pick their guys in the draft ahead of the draft last offseason. And he was big on Tariq Woolen.
Oh,
who ended up just being like a day 3 pick, I think.
That was
so
he nailed
give
it.
Him credit, yeah. And that's the end of the credit.
Ooh, reading this right now from Jack Miller. The Bills tried to sign Chase Edmonds in free agency. Oh, that was okay. Tried to sign J.D. McKissick, invested second-round pick in James Cook, and then they end up with Naheem Hines. So I thought that they tried to get him in this trade, but that was from the offseason. Anyway, Edmonds might be good. That was going to be my point there.
Bills, do we trust their judgment with running backs yet? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. We'll see. James Cook. They just don't run it. Because they're an offense that's better with throwing.
Yeah. It's like, why even bother?
Yeah. The NFL right now is not about balance. I was thinking about that today as well, because you got offenses like the Bills and the Chiefs, and all they do is throw it. They don't give a shit about running the ball. Their short passes are their runs. And then you got offenses like the Eagles and the Ravens, who are going to just run it all of the time and then throw it minimally. The Ravens were trying to not do that, and it wasn't working. So it's like you just got to get really good at one of those things some teams are finding success for. Broncos probably got to be a more balanced attack, but I don't know. I was just thinking about that today.
Yeah, I think maybe the lesson is to have one thing you're really good at. On offense and make that your identity and invest in that, and then just be okay at the other one.
Yeah.
Just not suck at the other facet of the offense.
Right. And I think the one thing the Broncos can be good at is throwing the ball deep down the field. Issue right now is they got to be able to give Russ just an extra half second or two to do that.
Yeah.
And
Calvin Anderson played pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, no, the line was better against Jacksonville. So
it's
anyway,
Jacksonville.
we'll have our game picks pod up later this week. I don't know when the next Broncos pod will be, but big news, Chubb. We think the Broncos won, getting that first round pick. Appreciate all of you guys jumping in here live. I got to go be a dad. Will's got to go be a father to a dog. So we're going to get the hell out of here.
It's right there.
There you go. Well, Daisy.
Just being good.
Being good. All right. Good night.
And John Elway played his entire career without an ACL.
And he did take Bradley Chubb instead of Josh Allen.